and welcome back to our channel. I'm Anushka Patil, a final year MBBS student at BJ Medical College, Pune, starting the lecture series on how to write a scientific research paper. In this video, I will deal with the introduction and aims and objectives of a research paper. So let's begin. Introduction is the first major section of a research paper, following which there are aims and objectives, methodology, results, and so on, ending with the conclusion. Hence, introduction can be considered as the gateway to your entire research paper. It consists of approximately 10% of your total paper and therefore has to be compact but impactful at the same time. So why is this mere 10% considered important in a research paper? An introduction establishes the foundation for your entire research paper. It answers questions like why, what and how for the readers and convinces them to complete reading your entire paper. Rules set in the introduction apply to all parts of your paper, and hence the readers know what to expect from your research. It also justifies why you took up this topic in the first place and the importance it holds in the scientific world. Coming to the purpose of an introduction, consider your research to be a story having a particular chronology, starts from A and ends at B, having numerous other things in between. Introduction is said to be A, the start, and conclusion is B, the end of the story. Hence, introduction talks about the gaps in knowledge your study aims to fill, and as you slowly move along the timeline, by the end of this research, that is the conclusion, the reader should have all the answers to the gaps you mentioned in the introduction. Now let's start with the actual writing of an introduction and its structure. Consider writing an introduction to writing an essay like we did in school. Introduction mostly comprises of 3 paragraphs. Paragraph 1, background of research. Paragraph 2, gap in knowledge. And paragraph 3, hypothesis you propose to fill that gap. The first paragraph deals with the background or broad introduction to your research. Its main goal is to answer the questions like, why is this research important? How does it apply to the real world? And what is its link to the many problems the medical field encounters? And to be attractive to grab the reader's attention. So what content should the first paragraph contain? You need to write about what is known about the topic of your research. Always start this paragraph with strong sentences and statements, using them as hooks to grab your reader's attention. Also, it should reflect your research sub-area. For example, if your research revolves around the topic osteoporosis in the elderly, make sure the readers know that your research falls under geriatrics by the end of the first paragraph. A short yet impactful explanation should be given about your topic on how it fits in the current science, and it should convince the readers of the validity and necessity of conducting this research. To help you with this, facts and statistics can be mentioned, acting as proof to your statements. Also, make sure you mention your theories, concepts, and definitions used in your research. In short, the first paragraph can be considered as a funnel. Its broader portion depicts the bigger picture or the general description of your research. And as you move along the introduction, you come to the narrower portion or the more specific part about what your research actually aims at. Now let's talk about the second paragraph, which deals with the gaps of knowledge in the scientific field. Its goal is to mention the problem or the reason why you chose a particular topic. We can divide this paragraph into 2 parts. why you took up this topic, and how you intend to bridge the gap in knowledge. To answer the why, you can state points like, too little information is available about this topic. The information available was incomplete. Further research in this topic is essential. Previous research overlooked some important areas, and additions or improvements are needed in the previous researches conducted on this topic. For the how part of this paragraph, you need to write about the logical steps needed to fill in the gap. When you do so, it implies that you have thoroughly read the existing literature on this topic, applied that knowledge to find answers for that gap, and this makes the reader aware that you know where this research is headed. In short, the second paragraph does two things: identify the knowledge gap and explain ways to bridge the same. Coming to the last paragraph of the introduction. Its goal is to explain the reader about your research outline. Here, you write just 4 to 5 sentences, roughly taking the readers through your research. You explain your research question and also the gain after your research is complete. Hence, this paragraph acts like the conclusion to your essay. A point to be noted is that the how part of the second paragraph mentioned earlier and the third paragraph might seem similar in some ways, but they do differ. Remember, the second paragraph talks about the knowledge gaps present in the medical field and your ideas to bridge them, whereas the third paragraph is about your actual research and how you plan on doing it. For example, if your topic is related to increase in mortality in a particular disease due to lack of sanitation, the second paragraph will contain statements like, in order to reduce mortality, focus on awareness in public about sanitation is important. And the third paragraph will have sentences like, hence, this research aims at conducting a case control study on public awareness on sanitation. And here you have it, a 1.5 page of introduction, a kickstart to your research paper. Now, here are some important points you need to keep in mind while writing the introduction. Make sure your introduction is not very long. Some journals have specific word limits, so make sure you abide to that. A personal suggestion would be to write a 2 to 3 page long introduction. You can then go through it, eliminate points, and shorten sentences. Keep doing so till you cannot shorten any more sentences, giving you a compact introduction. Grammar adds strength to your introduction. Good grammar equals to good introduction. Use sentences in active voice. This reduces the length of your sentences. Use concise and to the point sentences. Use strong verbs to make sure your sentences are impactful. Do not use first person pronouns like I, we, us. Keep your introduction formal. Make sure you note down all the references used for definitions, statistics and facts. We have a lecture on referencing systems soon, so do not worry. Do not mention something just because you know. Find an up-to-date relevant evidence for it. Do not copy the exact sentences from the sources you use. Change these sentences into words of your own. To help you with this, I would suggest that you thoroughly go through the reference source, make your own notes, and then use these notes to write the paper. Also, do not use quotations. Do not flood your introduction with references to avoid overlap with other parts of your paper like review of literature and discussion. If you plan to use an abbreviation throughout your paper, mention it in your introduction. For example, if you intend to use SAM-SAN throughout your paper instead of severe acute malnutrition, Write severe acute malnutrition with SAM in brackets after that in your introduction, and the abbreviation can then be used anywhere in the paper. Also, do not use graphs and tables in your introduction. You can either write your introduction at the very beginning or the end after your research is done. This is subjective. I wrote my introduction at the beginning and then went on making changes in it as and when I felt so throughout the research. Also, do not hesitate to take the help of your guide whenever you need. Lastly, make your introduction your own. It is after all the blood and sweat of your hard work. Now coming to the aims and objectives. After the introduction, the second major section of your research paper is aims and objectives. Let's start with how are the aims and objectives different from each other. Aim is the main goal you're trying to achieve. It is vague and tells the reader about what is that one question your research wants to find the answer to. An objective, on the other hand, is more specific and talks about the many steps taken to reach your goal, that is the aim. In most of the research papers, aims and objectives are clubbed together and written without specifying which of them are the aims or the objectives. If you do intend to have a classification in your aims and objectives, you can divide them into primary and secondary. The primary objective will deal with the most important result your research will produce, that is the aim. Please note that this primary objective is what drives your research. Your primary objective is the one for which your study is powered, whereas the other objectives that will give us answers to some collateral knowledge or as a part of the main question are grouped under secondary objectives. How do you write the aims and objectives of your research paper? The aim will be the longer version of your title. This will be the primary objective and will tell the reader the overall context of your research. Make sure it's precise and clear. Also, you can have only one aim, so do not use words like and also. After the aim is written, write down the many tasks that are needed to attain the main aim. These many tasks will then be your objectives. Make sure you emphasize on what is to be achieved rather than how to achieve it. You can write objectives from any part of your research paper, and it solely depends on what you want to stress in your research and which areas you want to focus on. At the end, these objectives should directly or indirectly help you achieve your primary aim, and the answers to these objectives should be found till the end of your research. Start sentences with to study, to investigate, to examine when the objectives fall under the review of literature. For example, if you wish to examine the validity of a particular protocol A for a particular disease B mentioned in a paper, the objective can be framed as to examine the validity of the protocol A used in the treatment of B, to collect data to analyze when under the methodology section. For example, if you want to collect information about how many people are aware about a particular government program C, the objective can be framed as to collect data on the awareness of program C in general public, to compare, to discuss, to evaluate under the result section. For example, your study wants to focus on how introduction of a certain intervention D can change the outcome of a certain scenario E. The objective can be to compare results of E after the introduction of intervention D, to recommend under the conclusion section, and so on. For example, if after the completion of your research a change like F in a protocol will be beneficial, the objective can be framed as to recommend F in protocol. An advice would be to start the objectives with to and then a verb after that. Also, do not repeat the same verb in two objectives. You can always use synonyms. Make sure you limit your aims and objectives to about 4 to 6 to the more clear, more achievable ones, those that will validate the success of your research. To help you with proper construction of your aims and objectives, use the mnemonic SMART, where S stands for specific, M for measurable, A for achievable, R for realistic, and T for time bound. With this, we end the lecture on how to write an introduction and aims and objectives for a research paper. To summarize, I spoke on the importance and purpose of an introduction, moving to the actual structure of an introduction, and ending with some important points. I then spoke about the difference in aims and objectives and the ways in which they can be constructed. In case of any doubts, feel free to contact us through the comment section or via Instagram, and the details are given in the description of this video. We will try our best to clear your doubt. I hope you find this video useful and helpful in your research journey. If you enjoyed the video, please do like and share. Also, subscribe to our channel. The rest of the sections on how to write a scientific research paper will be covered in the successive videos on our channel. So stay tuned. Thank you.